Okay, here we're going to use the table of integrals to evaluate the following integral. We have the sine inverse of the square root of x dx. So what we want to do is figure out what is going to be our u substitution. So for step number 1, we're going to let u equal the square root of x. Okay, and so then what is the derivative we know that du is going to equal 1/2 times x to the negative 1/2 dx, which is then 2 du, which is equal to 1 over the square root of x dx. And to solve for dx, we have 2 times the square root of x du, which is equal to dx. Okay, so we know this is what u equals, right? So that means we're going to have to substitute this square root of x to be u. So 2u du is going to equal dx. Okay, and what else do we know? Well, we know that if u is equal to the square root of x, if we square both sides, then u squared is going to equal x. So now let's go ahead and then take a look at our integral. So we have the sine inverse of the square root of x dx. And then if we use substitution, we have the sine inverse of u times 2u du. And now if we factor out the 2, we get 2 times u times the sine inverse of u du. So if we go to our table of integrals and scroll down to 90, you're going to see we have u times the sine inverse of u du, and there is our form for the table of integrals. So I'm going to copy that right here, and so there is our form. So we want to make sure that we have 2u squared minus 1 over 4 times the sine inverse u plus u times the square root of 1 minus u squared over 4 plus c. So what we're going to do is the following. We're going to write equals, and then we have 2 on the outside, which is the constant, and then we have times 2u squared. Well, u squared is x minus 1 over 4 times the sine inverse of u, and we know that u squared is x, and then u is the square root of x, so that's the square root of x, plus u, which is the square root of x, times the square root of 1 minus u squared, which is 1 minus x, over 4, and that's plus c. And now we're going to go ahead and then distribute the 2. So if we distributed 2 to the first term, we can see that this 2 divided by that 4 is going to give us 2. So we end up getting 2x minus 1 over 2 times the sine inverse of the square root of x. Plus, again, distributing that 2 makes that 2. So we have plus the square root of x times the square root of 1 minus x divided by 2 plus c. And then if we want to simplify it a little further, we can just say this is 2x minus 1 over 2 times the sine inverse of the square root of x, plus in the numerator we have x times parentheses 1 minus x over 2 plus c, and therefore there is our result.